Good view.
All right, everybody, we're getting ready to do this bad boy thing called a radio program, podcast, video thing. Doug, the man, the hunter, not hunter, Resseguie's back with more stories of glory and fun and games. And I'm going to call this one, as I will say here in a minute, Renewing Our Spirit, the big show all around us. All of that was inspired by my pal Doug, who is like the kingpin. So we will get going here as soon as he is ready to give me the thumbs up. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing well. How are you, Tom?
Good, good, man. Thank you for taking the time today. And I know it's a busy time this time of year with everybody, and so I'm really happy that we could get you in. You're one of our, if not our last interview for the year, you're one of the last, and so it's great to get you because you're such a good guest and always bring the hunter not hunter topic to chat and share good stories. And you've had some pretty good success. And I've got some other things I want to add to you with my son-in-law. I learned about with him, talking to him last night about his hunting expeditions this fall and how he's kind of nursing an injury. And we could talk about that too, because it's affecting his mindset and his hunting. He can't, he's having a knee issue. And so he's kind of a little bummed out about that. And I'm sure that happens with your kind of work, going out in the woods, climbing in trees and doing the things 12-year-olds do when you're, and you're only in your early 30s. So it's like, it's totally cool, right?
You got to add a few years there, brother. I've been hunting with a bow and arrow longer than 30 years, but yes, yes. Injuries and health play a big part on what people do. But that's one of the things I talk about today is how, being outdoors and being active, whether you're hunting or fishing or camping or just biking, walking, it's good for your health. And we learned a lot about that during the pandemic. People realized how, being inside buildings or being stuck in a cubicle all day, when they started to have to socially distance, they started to re-experience nature. I would say that the pandemic really started the next well, I shouldn't say the next, but it really reinvigorated people getting into going to parks, going outdoors. And we've seen that statistically in a lot of other studies that have been done since then. But that
Let's
I'll
get you
pass it
going.
back to you. I think you still had some things that you were announcing, so didn't want
Well,
to
no, I'm
interrupt you there.
just doing the pre-show kind of stuff. I just sort of get things set up with the video, and then as you know, we sort of cut this thing up. And our new virtual assistant has been very helpful with lots of video aspects to bring really polish the content up a little bit. And so it's been awesome. So let's get this bad boy going here. Get this thing called a radio program started. And here we go, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Tom Matt Show. Thank you so much for joining us, either on our audio stream, radio broadcast, syndicated radio, video, clips, whatever. Thank you so much for joining us. Last week, Brock Fletcher was here, and we did a 2023 recap with him and a prognostication, sort of like we did with Craig Stiles on the financial fitness. What we're trying to do is share with you good information going into the next year and giving everybody a little bit of hope. And that's how we roll with this bad boy. So anyways, my levels seem really high and I'm not sure why, but I'm just going to go with that because it's all good. Welcoming back for his 10th visit to the radio program, another brother from another mother. Guy is just awesome. He's inspired me. He's done things with me. He's helped me so much. My friend, very good friend, one of my best friends, Doug Resseguie, back for his 10th visit, doing the hunter non-hunter thing, the outdoors thing, the living life thing, the kids thing, the everything thing. Doug, you do it all, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, Tom. I'm doing well, and thanks for having me on the show. And hopefully, the people who listen find some things that they value, or some things to intrigue them, or maybe tease their brain a little bit. Have them check some new things out. It's a a slightly different twist than where a lot of your programs are, but I think we've got a little area here that people are interested in. So I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you. And it's always good to have the hunter, non-hunter perspective. There's many things to talk about since I'm such a know-nothing when it comes to the hunter, non-hunter aspect. But before we go there, and again, everybody, we're calling this one Renewing Our Spirit, the big show all around us, which I'm trying to give you the theater of the mind. It's the world. It's everything that is around us because we live in our little bubbles with work and our driving around and our lives, and it's what Doug will help us understand, which he helps really, really well and coaches a lot of people and works with kids and adults all over the place, has done this for many, many years, is the love for the outdoors and why it's so impactful for your life. But before we go there, the drill, everybody. Doug, this is your life, family. Catch everybody up, talk about the kids, how they're doing. You got big changes happening for you, being a grandparent, all of those good things. Go ahead, please talk about your family.
The family story is similar to what was on the last program. My daughter, who was teaching in Alaska for 5 years, has decided to come home and teach here in the lower 48 for a while. So she is back,
Daughter is
which
that,
is
Doug?
nice. Say that again.
Which daughter is that?
It's Denise.
Denise. Okay.
Yeah, Denise taught up in the bush of Alaska for 5 years. She's back down here. Partly because her sister had a new baby and she is an aunt and she wants to be involved with her niece's life, and so she's recently moved here, and it's been really good for her because getting around the family more is good. As a matter of fact, we just had Thanksgiving, so we've seen everyone for Thanksgiving. All the children were home. Amber teaches, and she's a school teacher in Detroit. Angela and I were happy to host, and we are always glad when the house is full and busy. And the new addition is Veronica, who is now walking, and so did
Really
lots of laps around the house. Yeah, now that she can walk and she doesn't have her little stroller, she likes to just explore. So I am very enthusiastic looking at her young explorer desire to go investigate things, and obviously Grandpa will be continuing to share with her lots of things as she gets older. So
now
Nicholas is doing well. He's teaching, or he's working in the schools here. He's in the area, and Angela and I are both still working, and she is teaching as I am. We both teach as adjunct faculty, and I am on the very end of the journey. Hopefully I will have completed and have the signature on my dissertation, completing it sometime next spring. So we're getting very close, and that's pretty exciting because it's been a long journey. And I don't know that I can describe the difficult things in my life that I've accomplished. One of them is earning a black belt in the martial arts. Other things would be, completing some really difficult tasks, climbing mountains or different things like that. But this has been a long, challenging experience. And part of it, I think, is really because it's so in depth and it takes so long. So you're constantly having to refocus and you're having to draw yourself back in, regardless of what kind of crazy things life throws at you, whether it's the new whatever the change is, the new person in the grandbaby in the life, or something changes at work or your health. I've had all of the above, and so you're just really trying to I'll steal something from you. You're trying to refire yourself, or you're trying to refocus yourself, and do that at a very top level of performance. And I would liken that focus mentally to teams that are having to go into competitive sports. Like we just seen the High School Athletic Association just played their state championships recently. We know we got the college football playoffs coming up here soon. We've got some, I mean, I just watched the Pac-12 championship last night, and you're seeing the Big Ten championship. So when you have a team that has what they talk about having a schedule, but then that schedule's elevated because you're out of your element, you're not on your home turf, you're playing against somebody different than maybe who you planned for. So it's really a reframing and keeping your brain, which is your most powerful tool and thing that you have in life, because it, even as your body ages and like I get a little, it takes me longer to climb hills, or like that picture behind me is the view from where I hunted this year out of my favorite spot to watch the sun come up. There's a hill behind there, and if I have to walk up that, even though I train regularly, it takes a little more time because your body's slowly um, your body's on a downward cycle. You can sustain it, but you probably aren't going to get it back to where I might have been 20 years ago. And maybe I could do that faster. So you just have to think about what you're going to do, prepare for what you're going to do. And then most importantly, enjoy every single moment and second in life, because it is amazing. And there's that as you started the show saying, the big game going on us around us all the time, that's life. And so, absorb it like a sponge and enjoy it.
Doug Resseguie is a married father of 5, 4 daughters and a son, lifelong learner, as he was just describing. I could go into a little more depth with his journey into the PhD, and I will just kind of jump off that point, that segue, because we're going to come up to break here, Doug, and I'm going to carry this through. But the amount of people that are going through education in a different phase of life, non-traditional education, is growing and growing. And Doug's a great example of someone who has been doing that. And that's what he's referring to, finishing his PhD that he's been pursuing. But he's been a lifelong learner his whole life. And that's the whole thing about being a lifelong learner. I mean, it's just, it enhances what we do. In this episode, we're going to talk about renewing our spirits, about being outdoors, because that's what the hunter non-hunter whole theme of this this topic and category of the radio program podcast is all about. Me being the non-hunter, as everyone maybe know, if you're new to the show, then Tom is the non-hunter and Doug is typically our subject matter expert on our hunter. So he does a lot of these shows, this being his 10th visit, and they're always interesting, always fun. Again, Doug Resseguie is our guest today. We're going to talk hunter non-hunter, renewing our spirit, the big show all around us. I'm Tom Matt, and this is the Tom Matt Show. Good. My stop didn't work there for a second. I was like, what the hell? It's always something with this shit, Doug. I swear to God. Oh, just I anticipate, expect it. It's just part of it. All right, here we go. I got to do a read for Craig. We did pick up another sponsor, so that's good. That helps us.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It was actually a Dave DeMarco thing. He kind of put it together and supporting his Mad Dog Minutes and our radio program. So yeah. All right, here we go. Boom. This segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by our pal, our financial advisor, Craig Stiles, your Ameriprise financial advisor, and our Ameriprise financial advisor, as I said, is Craig Stiles. He can help you plan for the life you want today and well into the future. Please give him a call. Without Craig, life won't be brilliant. It'll be humdrum. Craig can make it brilliant. Believe me, when you hand him all of the keys to your financial retirement zone money, and he can help that stay stable and even make it grow, it is pretty substantially amazing. I mean, I just have to say that. You can call Craig 1-800-528-1355. His local number is 517-483-4893. Email craig.stiles@ampf.com. Offices are located 2400 Lake Lansing Road. Suite B is in Brilliant, or B is in Lansing, Michigan, 48912. Stations that have carried us, will carry us, have carried us in the past. I always mention them all. Even if we're not on the stations anymore, it doesn't matter, because I'm grateful to any radio station that ever carried this broadcast in our historical perspective. Being in our 13th season, it matters a lot to say thank you and be grateful to all of those stations that gave us that time and brought our words to many different spaces in the world and places in Michigan and the Midwest. WGHN 92.1 FM in Grand Haven carried us for a long time. WJM, they were the first, as a matter of fact, to carry us on broadcast radio. WJM, the flagship of the Michigan Talk Network. AM 1240 Lansing, Michigan. WGRW 1340 AM in Grand Rapids. WKLQ 1490 Muskegon, Whitehall. WYPV FM 94.5 Mackinac City. There's a lot of stations in the Michigan Talk Network. Thank you to Steve and Ivy Gruber for providing us, the pipeline to the world with the syndication with the Michigan Talk Network. We're very, very grateful to them. And of course, our PBS affiliate at the Big Green Machine of Michigan State University, my alma mater, my former employer, where I am refired from. Didn't get fired, everybody. I just retired, and we call it refired, at Michigan State University, AM 870 WKAR. Thanks again to Craig Stiles for creating Desideri Analytics, where we are making light of weighted decisions. That's his proprietary algorithm, which makes his financial fitness and advice so on point. All right, back to today's episode. Renewing our spirit, the big show all around us. That's a mouthful. But I've got the best guy in the world to talk about this kind of stuff. My pal, my very, very, very good friend. I mean, the guy has just been rock for at least, 10, 15 years with me. And these kind of people are the kind you latch on to. When you find these kind of people in your life and they are continually consistent with their behaviors and their support of everything that you do, and they see and they want to help you, that's what you want to do, is latch on to people. That's a Doug Resseguie. He's just awesome. Great dad, husband, father, grandfather, you name it. But we're talking hunter, non-hunter. And I'd like to jump right here, Doug, into something that we talked pre-show about with my son-in-law, Matt, who is another hunter, non-hunter, or hunter, I should say. He's having a little bit of a, he's in his early 40s, and he's always been an active athlete. And so he's got a little bit of a knee thing going on, and it's affecting his hunting. And I talked to him last night about it, and he's a little bit, he's starting to realize that I got to take care of this. I got to start managing this better. And that's a key word with ailments, everybody. Doug, take the rest of the segment to talk about, your performance, how you get ready for these hunts. What do you do? Because you're even a little older than Maddie, our son-in-law. And you were very successful again this year, as usual. You came through with you bagged the big one. Let's talk about it. What do you do to keep yourself in your best tip-top shape to do what you love to do?
Well, I kind of want to twist the answer I give you a little bit, and because I want to really focus on the outdoor industry and make this not hunting specific. And so I want to give you a couple statistics really quick. One, the outdoor industry, as we know it, in the United States, there's roughly 331,000, almost 332,000 people. And that industry, as far as the percentage of people participating, has grown since 2007 dramatically. In 2007, we seen somewhere around 139 million people that were participating in some type of an outdoor activity. And right now, especially the last couple of years, as of 2021, or at the beginning of 2022, we set the record. We had 165.6 million people participating in outdoor activities. And the reason that that's important is that we want to call out a couple of the activities. Hunting is important, but if we're going to talk to your broad listener base, the top 5 activities top 5 activities participated by all people in outdoor activities. Number 1, the most active, was hiking, so walking. The number 2 activity, or actually, I say that I messed that up. It's actually running. People who run and then hiking. The number 3 activity was fishing. And so I'll give you those stats again. Running, 64.5 million runners in the United States. Hiking, 58.7 million people participating. Fishing, 52.4 million. Biking, 51.4 million. And camping, 45.9 million. So to speak to a really large group of people, not just the focus on hunting, which is a little bit lower down that list, but still very, very possible or very participated in. The most important thing is your general health. Now, this statistic shows that people from all ages, meaning youth all the way through until they're no longer on the planet, are participating in activities. And what's interesting, when you look at the gender percentage, because that's where this really gets interesting, hunting has had an increase in participation from females and youth for a lot of years. But in general, if we look at all activities right now, 46.5% of all people participating in outdoor sports are female, and 53.5% are male. So when you look at runners, hikers, biking, and all those top 5 activities, we're seeing a really equal distribution. So I want to call that out, because when people think of hunting, all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, the average age of the hunter, well, right now hunting is, the average participant is probably over 40 years old for just hunting, because that particular sport has a certain higher age limit. So main thing, it's going back to what you've always taught, which is health, sleeping, eating, activity, staying healthy to participate in all of these activities. So I'm going to hand that back over to you, sir.
All right, good segue. Thank you, Doug. That was a really good segue into where we're going today. I'm going to reset this thing, everybody. I'm going to come to break here. Doug Resseguie is our guest for his 10th visit, Hunter Non-Hunter. Although it's more of an outdoor, it's more of a quality of life. It's so much more, and that's why I love doing the Hunter Non-Hunter with Doug, renewing our spirit, the big show all around us. Doug Resseguie, Hunter Non-Hunter, subject matter expert on the Tom Matt Show, and this is the Tom Matt Show. Cool, man. You want to jump back into those stats, or you want to go into your own personal fitness, or where you want to go?
I've got a direction to go. I wanted to call that out, because one of the things I've looked at is that people think of this segment as really only being focused on hunting, and then it excludes a ton of people. So I wanted to start to call out how people are being involved and who we're talking to. So
I like it. I love it. I love it. It's good. It's a really good subject. Great. Excellent. Here we go. This is a new read, so I got to make sure I get this right. Thank you to Jamie White and White Law for sponsoring the 3rd segment. We're going to do that read right now. And as soon as I find it, here we go. Excuse me. Third segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by our brand new sponsor, Jamie White and White Law. White Law PLLC, where justice meets compassion. Great guy, great team, doing it all, helping everybody. He's got so many irons in the fire, it's crazy. And he can help you find whatever resolution you need to find. White Law is your advocate in times of need, and they are here to listen. We are here to listen, support, and fight for what you deserve. Contact White Law today for your free consultation. You can visit whitelawpllc.com, whitelawpllc.com, or call 517-777-9785. You can also go to our homepage, where all of our sponsors are located at the bottom of the homepage in the sponsor section. If you want to just go there and click through to their website and contact them that way, we try to make it easy for you. So once again, I want to thank the whole team at White Law for helping us, sponsoring the Mad Dog Minutes, sponsoring the 3rd segment of our radio program, And you will be hearing Jamie's voice here very soon, talking about all kinds of different topics as it relates to law and things that we need to understand between criminal law, elder law, you name it, law. We're going to talk about law. And that's why we have Jamie as a sponsor. We're very, very grateful once again to mention him and the whole team over there. They've been excellent and helpful. Again, go to our homepage and click through to the banner, and away you go. You will see a lot of white law all over our website moving forward. All right, back to our show today. Doug Resseguie's here. Show is when we do Hunter Not Hunter with Doug. Doug is always he's so prepared, always brings great notes, always brings great story. And today we're pivoting a little bit, renewing our spirit, the big show all around us. And I love where Doug, because this is what I do. I just throw the topic out to these subject matter experts, especially our regulars like a Doug, and let them, because they know what they're talking about, and he will steer this into where he thinks that we should be focused on. And today he's already started to focus on the bigger, broader aspect of being outdoors. And those stats you just mentioned, Doug, were spot on and very, very interesting. I'd like the whole thought of, being, we're both girl dads. And so we kind of run in the bias of being, just favoring our girls because we're girl dads. And so we both are. But I loved what you said about the female population getting outdoors, doing what that's a big number. You want to continue that whole thread?
Sure. And just to add a little context to what you said, I'm a dad, and I'm a granddad. So people may say I have a bit bias, but I just love kids and I love the younger generation. I work at a university. I teach at another university. So I'm committed to this next generation because they're our future and they're the future beyond the next future. So, for me, the one thing that's kind of shifted a little bit as I've gone from being young and trying to accomplish all of my own goals. And I want to say when I was younger, if I look back, if I was to take one of your, I forget what you call them, your messages to your younger self, I think is what you call your little video snippets. And my younger self was focused a little bit smaller circle toward the center of the bullseye on what was going on in my life, what was I accomplishing. It was a lot of I stuff in there. As I got to be older and I had my family, and then now most of my kids have grown up, and I'm looking at it more in a community sense, in a larger following, and in much more in what is the investment of my time, what am I giving, and is it more impactful to those around me? So when I look at that, what really strikes me when you think of the outdoor activities is the next generation. And a couple of things. One, I want to call out one of the sources that I'm calling information from, which is really important to cite, the outdoorindustry.org. So it's outdoorindustry.org, does annual reports on all this. They get their data from all of the everything from the companies that sell outdoor products to surveys and everything else. But it's really important because it helps us track what's going on. And it's interesting to see that America's children are spending more time outdoors in the past decade, which has really rapidly accelerated kids ages 6 through 12 and then ages 13 through 17, where they look at that. There's 20.9 million 6 to 12-year-olds participating as of last year. There's 14.4 million 13 to 7-year-olds participating, which is growing. And one of the things that I think is interesting is that the top 5 activities I indicated to you, biking, camping, fishing, and running, were all common in the same number. But the interesting thing is when you look at the younger ages, their 5th category was skateboarding. And so doing something that we see it a lot on campus. We see people running those things. But a really scary statistic to me, I say scary, something to be aware of, is the most popular non-outdoor recreation activity for kids, as according to the statistics, is video games. 59.3%. That is the most popular activity that people participated in, ages 6 to 17. The next most popular categories are they're not even close. I mean, 18.9% dance, marching band, and school sports 16.7, and it just drops down activities from there. So it's interesting, but at the same time, I just think it's really important that we call out families and participating, having a group to work with, and or other people. Maybe it's just that one other person that you like to do, because solo activities are less, they're not always as easy. You don't have your accountability partner. I mean, there have been times when I've called you and told you about a new PR I've had with my own workouts and things like that, because calling myself accountable means now I got to double down and get back to work. So I think as we look at this next generation and we look at where the world is going, we see people participating now more than ever. It's really important that if you're a father, if you're a mother, if you're a brother, sister, someone, I want you to think about the fact that if you look at all activities, talking about the big game going on around you, the most active things that happen, and if you look at it in frequency, the playground is outdoor. It's something that almost all these youth are doing at least once a week. A skate park, the dog park, botanical garden, the neighborhood park, a city park, state park, national forest, and or national parks. Those other ones that I listed later are ones that are less frequently visited, but there's a huge opportunity of areas where people can go outside and be active and just smell fresh air, see clouds. If you're looking up in the sky and you watch a cloud go over, it might make your brain go, I never really thought about how that works. So that's the wonder, that's the inspiration that we want to give younger people in this magnificent world that we live in, so that they are invested in it and they're going to be good stewards of everything from not throwing something on the ground. They tend to be very responsible. They have a high level of thinking about what does this do to the planet, their choice in the products they're going to buy. Are these products from sustainability, or am I using resources unwisely? So that's really where I see the importance of this going. And at the same time, we are talking about outdoor activities, specifically hunting. Hunters tend to be better conservationists than someone who maybe isn't aware of what is the effect of cutting these trees down or not cutting these trees down or putting something in the ground. So I hope that is in line with what you wanted to talk about, but I really am passionate about getting the young people involved. So that's really where I wanted to go with this next segment, and then we can close strong after this.
Strong, super strong message. We're going to wrap this segment here. Let me do a recap on this. Doug Resseguie's back, Hunter Not Hunter, 10th visit. Renewing our spirit, talking about stats with all of the people participating in outdoor activities, because the Hunter Not Hunter involves everything that is helpful, outdoorsy, good for nature. Love these topics, and I love the human spirit that goes into all of it, because that's what's important, is continuing to build and create happiness for people through outdoor activities, good, solid behaviors. Doug Ressegue is our guest. I'm Tom Matt, and this is the Tom Matt Show. Beautiful. That was great, man. I want to get to your, we got 2 more segments to go, so we have time to do the, this year's hunt. Do you want to circle back to your fitness stuff, or do you want to continue with this thread? Where do you want to go?
No, I want to go to the hunt. I want to get to the meat of what a lot of people may be looking for if they dialed into this program.
That's good. No, that's good. Let me get my read ready here and away.
I'm going to send you this link so that you have it. You should publish this link so that
I'll put it with a recap.
put it in the chat.
Yep.
Because I want people to be able to pull up these reports and they can read much more details on that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I will do that for sure. All right, here we go. Fourth segment sponsor of the Tom Matt Show is Brock Fletcher, the selling team of Keller Williams Realty. And again, once again, I want to make sure that everybody understands that with our sponsors, we utilize their services. We know them, we trust them, we want you to trust them, and that's why they're sponsors of our programming. From Craig, to Brock, to Jamie. Now that Jamie's on our team now, it's all good. We have good people that help us, want to help you with. I'll tell you what, without Brock's trust in his team, and want to say a shout out to Mike Dedman. How you doing, Mikey? Mike Dedman was our buyer's agent for Little House Lansing. And when Brock gave us the numbers for Big House Holt, which was a huge move, as I've talked about many, many times on the radio program, it was a huge deal. The anxiety was plentiful, and it was during the pandemic as well. So we had all kinds of crazy things going on here. You can call Brock today if you want to get the service like we got. You will get the service always. He's so consistent, 100% consistent. 517-853-6408. Or this is the non-super secret, which I used to say is kind of funny thing. The super secret number, which isn't so super secret, 517. This is the one you want, everybody. 517-303-3262. Or go online to kwsellingteam.com. Sell your home without hassles. He's the man. He's got the plan, and he helps. He's a huge MSU honk. But the nice thing about all of our sponsors, again, is they're connected nationally. They have friends everywhere. I mean, Craig, Jamie, and now Brock, they're all associated with really good people nationally. So if you're listening to the podcast and you're in Texas or California or Arizona or Utah or wherever, hunting, getting ready to, you're sipping a nice warm beverage, whatever you're doing, thank you so much. Remember, you can find our sponsors and they can help you get to the people that you need to be with in your area. All right. Once again, all of our sponsors links are located at our homepage, tommattshow.com, where we want you to go to connect with our people and make things happen. Hunter Not Hunter is our theme for today. Love doing Hunter Not Hunters. Doug Resseguie is my subject matter expert for the most part. Had a few other ones, but Doug is the kingpin. He's been on the show the most. 10th visit, renewing our spirit, the big show all around us. Doug has had some success with the big show all around us. Let's get into the hunting aspect. It's given us some really great stats. And in the recap, I will have some links that Doug is going to give to us for your perusing the internet. And think of Doug as the great filter, the great white filter in the internet. I mean, when it comes to hunting and outdoor activity, this guy knows more than a lot of people. A lot more than I do, that's for darn sure. So, Doug, let's talk about this year. You had some success, brother. Congratulations on that.
Well, thanks, Tom. Every year is a success, and I want to define what success is for me when I go. 1, that I'm going. 2, that I'm able to go. And I know that sounds like a more what we call leveled up character answer, meaning that I can still go outside. But, I have a lot of friends, some of which are no longer on the planet. So they're no longer going on those journeys with us in person. So, just being able to go outside and enjoy. There is a certain level of activity, being able to go out in the cold or move and things. So yeah, I'm very pleased to have gone. This is, I guess I've been hunting with my dad since I was about 10. So this is my 45th year of hunting. I'm 55 this year. And I've been hunting with a bow since I was 12. So I've been hunting with a bow for 43 years. I sent you a picture, which we can put up later, but I did get a really nice 9-point this year. It is a personal best for me with my bow.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But it really, my entire life has been about learning to use and appreciate the resources. So I grew up in Michigan, and in Michigan, hunting is very active, but we hunt for food. And so, if you're going in the garden and you're hungry for a tomato, you pick a tomato that's red and it's ready to be picked. You may not size it up and try to say, is this the very biggest tomato on the plant? So when we talk about how they score and how they measure certain things, there's the textbook, or what you would say the record book, and I want to call that out. The record book for archery hunting is Pope and Young, and Pope-Young.org is where you'd see the records. If you're hunting with a firearm or not a bow, it would be Boone and Crockett. And so they have different ways of scoring the animal, generally measuring the horns, whether they're typical or non-typical. And so for me, I've never been a record book hunter, but one of my goals in life is to actually get a record book animal, because it's just really kind of like reaching for that next level rung on the ladder. I'd like to. I have seen them, and just to see an animal of that caliber will put you in awe, because these are not common. And but to that being said, this year I shot my best 9-point ever with my bow. It was very successful. The hunt was very memorable, and I had my son Nicholas was here, and I actually had him. I came back after harvesting the animal, and I said, I'm gonna need some help. And he kind of looked at me funny, like, you don't normally need help. And I'm like, no, I really need some help. I can't move this animal. It's a big animal. And he kind of laughed. And when we got there, I had already started working on it. And I said to him, I said, well, go ahead and turn it around. He grabbed a hold of it and he went to move it. He goes, what's it stuck on? I said, gravity. He looked at me and he's like, what? And I said, it's big. It's bigger than what we normally take. It's going to take both of us to move this and bring it back to the house so that we can finish processing it and turning it into food. So it was a good year. And but with that, I wanted to tell you, you don't know this is coming. So where are you recording from today, Tom?
Wisconsin.
Uh-huh. You know, if we talk about whitetail deer hunting in America, the state that currently reigns as the state that has the best whitetail hunting in the United States is Wisconsin, because after 7 decades, Wisconsin continues to reign supreme for the number of Boone and Crockett entries. The state has 125 record book entries. 81 of them are typical and 44 are non-typical. That's a big lift. That means that in the beautiful country out there, you have some very good corn-fed, or we'll say Midwestern deer. For perspective, the state that has the highest white-tailed deer, and I'm calling that out because there's 2 types of deer. Well, there's several types of deer. There's mule deer, there's blacktail, and there's whitetail. But whitetail is what most people refer to, at least in the Midwest. And so whitetail, the highest states with the highest success rates for hunting, are in the Midwest. Pennsylvania #1, Ohio #2, Indiana #3, Illinois, and Wisconsin. They're not in order of number, but those are the top 5 hunting states. And so next week, in less than a week, next Thursday, I will be leaving here, going back down to Illinois. I was down in Southern Illinois once with my bow this season in October. I spent 5 days hunting down there and seen some incredible animals. And one of the things I got to observe was I got to see 2, what I would say, near record book level animals at the same time for about an hour, but they were like 90 yards from me. So I got to watch them and observe them and see how they behave and how they act. I just, that's beyond where I can shoot with a bow. And I'll go back to one of the things Fred Bear said when people used to ask him about why you like to bow hunt. He said, I like to hunt for the sport. He said, but in the future, because he was talking back when rifle and gun hunting was more popular, he said, in the future, the sport will take on challenge, just like we've increased from the 2-point shooting line to the 3-point shooting line. We make it difficult. He said, just because you go out in the woods and you see it doesn't mean that you can take it home and eat it. He's like, that's what the difference is in archery hunting. So I had a great experience, and I'll be back down there next weekend with my muzzleloader, and I'll see how this turns out. But I'm going to hand it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Doug. That's a good segue to, we're going to wrap this segment. Doug Resseguie is our guest. Let me reset all of this. Renewing our spirit, the big show all around us. Love having Doug in with his stories of success in hunting and all of the different attributes with the outdoor life. I mean, because he likes to bring it all. It's not just going out and harvesting the animal, as he calls it. It's not just going, it's so much more than that. And what he wants to do, and what I want to do as well, is inspire people to be healthier through being outdoors, being good stewards of our environment, and teaching young people to put down the video games and get outside and play with a ball, play with all of the different things that you can do outside, that's the way to live your life. Not to say anything disparaging on video games or any of that kind of stuff. I don't know much about that, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing better than throwing a ball with an 8-year-old boy or a 10-year-old girl. There's absolutely nothing better than that. You listen to the Tom Matt Show, and I am that host, Tom Matt. We'll be right back. Beautiful. Okay, plug time. So top of the fifth, we'll go back into, do you want to go back into where you were just at with the hunt and continue that conversation, or where do you want to
Yeah,
go?
no, I want to close out with the hunt and that topic.
Okay, cool. You got stuff you want to promote? Here we go. You ready? Okay. Welcome back to the bonus segment of the Tom Matt Show. Fifth segment, carried on several of the radio stations and on WKAR on the PBS affiliate. If you missed this and you are wondering what we're talking about in the fifth segment, always get this on the podcast for sure. It's always there and it's ready for you either on video or on audio only. And we are on all of the big carriers. Go to our website, tommattshow.com, connect with us there. We have our virtual assistant who's helping us with so much more video content. She's doing a fantastic job. And I can't tell you, it's so rewarding to see young people assisting us and really buying into what we do and becoming excited about sharing our content. So whatever platform that you like to or prefer to be on, be it Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those things. Matter of fact, the guest that's on today, Doug Resseguie, Hunter Not Hunter, is the guy who he was like pretty passionate about getting me on TikTok. I'm really glad he did because it helped me with my hashtag dad talks and get that whole thing formulated. And if you want to see any of those bad boys every day, I do a little, no more than 2-minute clip talking about all kinds of different things. Just whatever's resonating for that day. And there's a million things flying around in Tom's head. It's pretty hilarious. All right. Doug, what would you like to promote before we get back into the hunting stories here? You've got lots of links. You'll send me the links. I'll put those all in the recap. But how do people connect with you if they want to hire you for teaching, tutoring, speaking? You teach a lot of classes with self-defense and you teach a lot of things. How would you like people to connect with you?
I'm a digital nomad, so you can find me everywhere if you search for me, but the easiest way is just to come back to your program. I think you have a link in there that people can reach you. And honestly, for this program, the easiest way would just be come back and leave comments on the show, questions, we'll answer them, and or anything like that. Happy to keep the communication going, but let's just stay focused with this particular link that you have. But yeah, if you search, I mean, I'm across the internet. I don't try to hide. I'm involved in all kinds of activities, and there's links for me out there with that.
He's as transparent as they come, that's for sure. Doug has been on the internet for a long time. He's a tech guy, and it's just that's what's great about technology. I mean, sharing all of our social media and people connecting with us. Back to your hunting stories there, my man. That animal that you harvested, when I saw the picture of it, that thing, not only did it look massive, it looked like it had been around a while. So I'm just curious, is like on the age of these animals and like how much did that animal weigh? Because it looked really, really large. Can you talk about all that, please?
I can. And one of the things to note is that if you're looking for me, I'm looking at food, I'm looking at, getting something, but I'm also thinking about how to manage the herd. So, in archery hunting, one of my goals is to take a balanced number of animals, but I was going to take a buck this year. I did. This is a more mature buck. It was probably a 4-year-old, which means typically they're not going to, in certain areas, they're not going to live to past 7 years old. So I wanted something that I was going to take out of the system that would allow some younger bucks to have some room to grow. It field dressed out well over 200 pounds, which was very large for a Michigan deer. But when you talk about the age, it's all about nutrition. And you talk about that in your other healths and diets and things. When you're in southern Michigan, the largest part of Michigan's deer herd is in the southern portion of the state. and as you go north, the food becomes more sparse and the animals are more sparse. So as it doesn't mean that you still don't get big deer there, but you just see a healthier or heavier animal, and their food supply really defines that a lot. So sorry about that. Hope I muted. I, for whatever reason, had a sneeze there. You asked me what I wanted to promote in this segment. I want to promote a program we've talked about a lot, but there is a program. It's not just in Michigan, but it's Becoming an Outdoors Woman. And that program in Michigan, you can find it at the Department of Natural Resources. There's a specific a link to it. I'll put it in there. But other states have also found or started these nonprofit organizations. When I teach or when I try to help, I'm always trying to invest time in locations where, whether it's a wounded wounded warrior program, or if there's something to do with helping, I want to help in areas and promote areas that do things. Actually, the second thing I want to promote, and this is something that I'm getting ready to go take care of this weekend, is there is another program, and we've mentioned it in the past, but Sportsmen Against Hunger. Right now, I'm going to go out this weekend. I'm going to harvest an animal and then take it over to my local processor. The way this works, the state of Michigan allows you, if you have a tag, so let's say I'm going to use an antlerless tag, I'm going to go get an animal. I'm going to take that animal to a processor that participates in Sportsmen Against Hunger, and then they will process it commercially so that it can be given to the food bank and redistributed to the underserved communities, to the food bank families that come in. A portion of that meat may be given to the homeless shelters where they're trying to get food to serve. So another way, if you want to participate in the industry, maybe you want to participate, but you don't have as many family members to feed. So you're doing those things. That's really something I'm passionate about. And I really want to say thank you to all of the processors out there in Michigan. The one that I'm going to go to is Mierendorf Meats in Mason. But there's a lot of other processors, and there's a list of them across the state. And I'll also put Sportsmen Against Hunger's link in there so you can find out where you can go, what you need to do, how does it work. But the processors that dedicate their time to processing that food as a donation, because the health requirements of giving food to people, it has to be processed. But it's a really good program, and that's really important. I did want to close up. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, kudos for you for doing that. I just want to give you kudos for you for doing that, and to all of the processors, because I know a lot of time and energy goes into that. And that's just, it's a very admirable thing. I had no idea that something like that occurs. And that's why we do these episodes, everybody, to share this information. And see, Doug comes up with this stuff, the Becoming Outdoors Women and Sportsmen Against Hunger. Fantastic. Awesome. Bring people in, help other people. As a matter of fact, I always look forward to getting my little sliver of Doug's take every now and then. He'll give me the handoff, and it's always it's great stuff. I mean, the venison that he will share with us is top notch. It's all just perfect. And it's if you haven't had it, Doug, you could tell, you got a couple minutes before we wrap this thing. If you want to talk about humans consuming that type of meat, it's wonderful. It's great.
Well, because of sustainability and how I believe, I would never take an animal or a fish or something if I wasn't going to use it. I mean, I might catch it, but I'd release it. And if it was fishing or something like that, especially with young people, but they want to learn and develop their skills. So, but no, outdoor game is a fantastic resource for those people who are a little concerned with the commercial industry of food processing. We're talking about natural things. They're grass-fed. They're living in the wild. There's no steroids or hormones given to them. I mean, they're very low in fat, and so it's a high protein, very healthy animal. But if you're not familiar with cooking venison, there's tons of recipes out there. The big thing is get with somebody who cooks it. Unlike beef, you're gonna wanna rinse your meat, and the blood in venison has a slightly different flavor. The average American has grown up with the taste of red meat. If you are a red meat consumer, you're used to that flavor, and it'll be a different flavor if you don't rinse it. But other than that, it's a great product. The only thing you want to remember too is, like, if you're using hamburger, or if you've ground venison into a burger, or you're using it as a steak, it doesn't have the high fat content that you have in a cow. So you're going to want to add a little bit of olive oil or something when you're cooking, because there won't be oils in the meat. So you're going to want to prep what you're doing if you're frying it. If you're doing a slow cook or something, I oftentimes will just put in some venison steaks, and I'll put in some garlic. I'll put in some, a little bit of onion. I'll use maybe a can of French onion soup or something like that, and I'll let it simmer for the whole day, and it falls apart. I want to call out one thing, and I don't know if you know this, but I'm not going to use the person's name, but we have a common person that we both worked with, whose son this year had their first success with outdoor hunting, and I'm really proud of that young person. So my total high success measure is, I know several young people this year that have been participating in hunting, and they were managed to get their first successful harvest. So hats off to those young people.
That is a great wrap and a good takeaway that Doug loves to continue to promote all of the outdoor living on our Hunter Not Hunter episodes and topic. If our show fits your business or group's mission, we want to be of service to you through our topics, issues. Please let us know. TomMattShow.com is where you can connect with us. Sponsorships are available, although they're limited, and we are very careful with our vetting process on that. Please let us know on that. If you missed any portion of the radio show, our podcasts are available at TomMattShow.com or any of the big aggregates of podcasting out there, iTunes, Google Play, any of them. We're on all of them. Always remember, before you can share love with others, you must love yourself first. Thank you to my very good friend, Doug Resseguie, for being with us. Doug, thank you for being with me.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me, Tom. Look forward to
Sandy,
coming back.
Craig, Brock, Jamie White, everybody, thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you next weekend, everybody. Have a great week. Go out and ignite your life. Remember, Tom Matt Show is a production of Boomers Rock Media. We want to bring your story to life. And lastly, I want to say thank you to Mitch Anderson, producer of this show. We're out. Beautiful. That went so good. You're free to go, my man. That was really good.
Thank you.
My
I
pleasure.
wanted to say thanks for having me on the show. I sent you some links, the Sportsman Against Hunger, the Becoming an Outdoors Woman link to Facebook, Pope and Young, Outdoor Industry. So if you want, feel free to use a picture that I sent you and post it, somewhere, or if it's the link that you use for that particular
I'll probably
series,
put that
whatever
picture
you want to do there.
I'm probably going to put that picture in the excerpt video. So I'll drop that in there, because that's where we're probably going to go with all of that. So yeah, thank you for all of that. And I'll post up all that on the recap for sure. All right, well, have fun moving stuff today, or getting the next deer that you're going to get. And that was really nice to talk about the Sportsman Against Hunger and the outdoors women stuff. Good educational. This is a really good educational episode on all outdoor stuff, Doug. So great job.
Yeah, thanks, man. Enjoy. Get over there to that basketball tournament and tell your family that, go show them how much that Papa Tom loves them. So get out there.
I will do that. I will do that. You know that. Thank you, brother. Have a good day. All right, see ya. Bye. Doug Resseguie's a king. Love him. So awesome. Guy's been so helpful. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening, doing what you do, subscribing, liking. It's all the big process. I want to say thank you to Vanessa, our new virtual assistant. She's first mentioned for her on our radio program, so she'll be excited to hear her name mentioned. And we will be sharing her services with other people once we get her all squared away with what she's doing with us. And if you see any of the new work on our Instagram, Facebook, you can see, you'll notice it because it's very different than what I post up, and she's super polished, and so I want to help promote her as well. And I'll let you all know about all that. But if you have any questions, send us a note, TomMattShow.com. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, subscribe, like, do all those good things. And if you got any comments, please send them to me, ideas. Happy holidays moving forward, everybody, and let's have a great 2024. All right. Love you all. Thank you. Peace out.